Hi, welcome back to my channel. A few months ago, I made a video called Twitter is Falling Apart, where I talked about Elon Musk's wacky hijinks and the state of Twitter, and it's been sad to see the app only get less usable since then. I didn't jump on Mastodon or Blue Sky either because I'm so cool I didn't want to, or I did not get an invite. We'll say I'm loyal to my day ones, even when they're going through it. And then in walks Threads. And then in walks Threads. And then hey everybody, it's me, Instagram Threads. God, that bitch sucked. Threads is made by Meta, the geniuses behind Facebook and the metaverse. It's officially listed in the App Store as Threads, an Instagram app, and I feel like they could have gone with a longer title. Maybe Tom Clancy's Threads, an Instagram app by Meta of Latter-day Saints. You need an Instagram account to have an account on Threads, and your handle is the same on both apps. You can import your following list, so everyone you follow on Instagram, you also follow on Threads, and that list keeps updating over time. So as people join Threads, you continue to follow new people who you already follow on Instagram. This might be the single feature most responsible for Threads' success. Having to fully start over is a huge barrier keeping people from joining new platforms. Threads is a microblogging app. You can post up to 500 characters and include 10 pictures or 5 minutes of video. You can repost someone else's thread. You can quote repost. You can like things. It's a Twitter clone. They're not gonna say this, but I will, because I'm a brave American. It's a Twitter clone. I know it's tough to believe that Meta, of all companies, Meta, would steal from another social media platform, but it finally happened. You can do all the things you'd expect to do on an app like this, except you can't. There are so many things you can't do right now. You can't send DMs. You can't search for posts. You can only search for users. You can't use hashtags. You can't click on someone's profile picture to see it bigger. But Instagram didn't let you do that for a long time, so I'm not surprised. There are no stories, but I think this is an intentional choice. We all remember what a raging success Fleets was. Every time someone mentions Fleets, I pass out and my body shrivels up like a raisin because all the blood rushes to my cock. Thank God that happened before Elon took over Twitter, because if it didn't, they'd still be a feature and they'd be pushing them hard. Just like me when I see a fleet. The app is missing a ton of accessibility features like alt text or closed captions on videos or a screen reader. And these are all things that Instagram does have, so hopefully it's a matter of when and not if. The CEO of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, even posted, "The team has been entirely focused on keeping the lights on and fixing bugs, but we're starting to prioritize the obvious missing features, like a following feed, the edit button, and post search." The app's been live for 1 week when I'm filming this, so the features that exist right now are the core features that they believe are most important to the product. One thing that I hope they change is right now Threads uses the same zoom function on photos that Instagram uses, where the zoom only holds as long as your fingers are holding it. And that shit sucks. I hate that. They should change that. It's annoying. But it's not as annoying as the fact that there's only one feed and it's not a following feed. Do people you follow show up in the feed? Yeah. Sometimes. And every time you follow someone new, the app will show you like half a dozen threads just from them, all in a row. It is kind of funny to be on the Jeremy Renner app, but for Ro Ramden, or Giannis Antetokounmpo, or Caitlin Riley. Sometimes the app does this with people you do not follow, like Noah Beck, or Paris Hilton. Maybe you do follow them. I don't. It's clear that initially the algorithm is giving a whole lot of priority to people with verified accounts, and this just means I saw a lot of posts from people who I do not give a fuck about. I hadn't thought about King Batch since I was on Vine, but here he was showing everybody his weird handshakes. I saw posts from Lele Pons, Charlie D'Amelio, Gary V, James Charles, Ellen DeGeneres, Awesomeness TV. I saw a video from Guava Juice where he pretended to get pissed on, and that made me pissed off. Most of these people I'm not actually mad about. Charlie D'Amelio has never wronged me. I mean, she's Italian, but she can't help that. Nor do I think she's posted anything particularly bad. I just don't follow her because I'm not particularly interested in the types of things she posts. I'm sure there's a lot of people who feel the same way about me. So many posts were from people I don't follow, to the point that I was getting posts about how there's a lot of posts from people you don't follow. And those posts were from people who I do not follow.
So far, Threads has been pretty good. That has that right now it's doing alright. It's not like day 2. There's so much more that needs to happen. There's something. It's not like this is an accurate picture of the app. It's day 2. I'm alone.
Another part of the feed that needs work is the ability to follow current events. Going back to Adam Mosseri, the goal isn't to replace Twitter. That's what we in the biz call a lie. They would love it if there was no Twitter. That would make their product so much more valuable. Anyway,
the goal is to create a public square for communities on Instagram that never really embraced Twitter, and for communities on Twitter that are interested in a less angry place for conversations, but not all of Twitter. Politics and hard news are inevitably going to show up on Threads, but we're not going to do anything to encourage those verticals.
We won't discourage or downrank news or politics. We just won't court them in the way Meta has in the past. This is really where Threads is either going to succeed or fail. Both major news events, elections, wars, corruption scandals, and minor news events, the Grimace Shake, awards shows, Keke Palmer's baby daddy acting like a jackass, are the lifeblood of a Twitter or a TikTok. Any app that's aiming to be the virtual town square that's talked about so much needs to have the current events coverage that people are specifically looking for. Obviously, search features are going to help this a ton, and there will always be content in between news and pop culture. But platforms like Twitter and TikTok are built around what people are collectively talking about. If Threads ends up being text posts from people you follow on Instagram, I can't imagine the app having a ton of longevity. Quick example. Right now, a lot of the threads on Threads are about Threads. It's the new thing everyone's talking about. But Sunday the 10th was the home run derby for Major League Baseball, and I am a big baseball fan. Is it the biggest event of the year? Hell no. Young people don't care about baseball, but I follow the MLB, and Threads has recommended me accounts about sports in general and baseball in specific. Accounts I don't even follow on Twitter. It knows this is an interest of mine, and yet I didn't see anything about the Derby on Threads until an hour after the event was over. But on Twitter, it was all right there next to all the other dumb shit I like to see on Twitter. So I was on Twitter that night. There are also so many accounts just stealing tweets. If there was ever a time for Dory or Common White Girl or any of those other accounts to re-find their footing, it will be firmly on Threads. I've seen the "this is the best feature Apple ever made" tweet. I've seen "depression causes memory loss." I've seen drill tweets. It's despicable. But this is what happens when a bunch of relatable Instagram accounts who are desperate for clout need to start producing their own material. They don't. They can't. They're not posters. I'm not even a true poster. And that shit haunts me every day of my life. Thank God I have jester's privilege. The tweets, and let's be honest, I'm gonna call them tweets. I'm not gonna call them threads, or they're tweets. They're tweets. The tweets that aren't stolen have huge BuzzFeed in its prime energy. Am I surprised that Brent Rivera is posting about liking tacos? No. Do I think that brings any value to the platform? Not really. But I don't think Brent Rivera could have a thought that is both funny and original. Relatable accounts and Instagram comedians will struggle on Threads for the same reason that Ron DeSantis will not win the presidency. They don't have the juice. They can play the hits, and they will find an audience that way. But they will never come out on top, and they will always feel something empty inside of them. And that brings me joy. You know who immediately jumped on Threads? Brands. After a bunch of hellos and tapping the mic so much I was afraid the damn thing might break, Wendy's said McDonald's. Slim Jim said mommy over and over again. Denny's said if you're not a child or a senior, you can still order food at our restaurant, which is just not true. If it did well on Twitter, it was bound to do well on Threads. It was clear that they all felt immediately secure on the platform, with a mix of Instagram's brand friendliness and Twitter's quirky vibes. It's not like brand accounts are posting for the love of the game. It's a marketing strategy. The Duolingo owl is not posting about being horny for Big Bird for fun. He's doing it for engagement and likes and because he's a freak pervert. Right now, there are no paid advertisements on Threads, which is lovely compared to the random assortment of mobile games and individuals who are paying for promotion on Twitter. But 1,000% there will be ads on Threads, and soon. Mosseri also talks about some of the communities that Threads is trying to court. What they do is Meta throws a ball. Presumably they're going to call this one the Threads ball. Really, it's a ball of twine, but I'm not going to call them out on it. There are more than enough amazing communities, sports, music, fashion, beauty, entertainment, etc., to make a vibrant platform without needing to get into politics or hard news. I am a little shocked he didn't include video games on that list because that is my favorite non-political community. Do you know that? Do you know there's never actually been a political video game before? The idea that any of those communities exist outside of politics is just bafflingly wrong. It's patently incorrect. Music that exists without politics. Okay. No Beyonce. No Kendrick Lamar. No Olivia Rodrigo. No Orville Peck. This is going to take a while if I just do individual artists. So let's do genres. No jazz. No hip hop. No R&B. No punk. No funk. No soul. No country. No ska. You know how wrong you gotta be to get me on the same side as that chicken nugget ass music? It is rich, and I mean rich, to hear a company that spends $20 million a year lobbying the government say, hey guys, let's not get too political here. For context, that's about triple what ExxonMobil spends on lobbying. And if I know one thing, everyone loves ExxonMobil. Easily the stupidest thing to happen because of Threads is the dick measuring contest between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. And that's not really even a joke because this is a real tweet. The ocean siren song grows louder every day. Before Threads even goes live, June 20th, Elon Musk tweets that he would fight Mark Zuckerberg in a cage match. Mark posts this tweet to his Instagram story and says, "Send me location." It's unfortunate how funny of a response that is. I know the two of them were never actually going to fight. Also unfortunate. But Elon backed out because his mommy said no. And if his mom didn't say no, then he totally would have. He totally would have, and he totally would have kicked Mark's pasty ass. And he's not scared of the dark, okay? He's not scared of the dark. Why would you say that? Why? There's no shame in not wanting to fight Mark Zuckerberg. He's been winning jiu-jitsu tournaments. This dude would easily kick my ass. I'm a half a foot taller than him. But that is literally the only advantage I would have in that fight. So I can imagine that someone who's 3 decades older than me and who somehow spends more time online than I do would also not want to partake in that fight. I would never say I'll fight Mark Zuckerberg. Are you kidding me? But all this is just prelude. Threads launches on July 5th, and on that same day, Twitter limits the number of tweets that users can see. An unverified account could see 600 tweets before they got a message at the top of their screen that said rate limit exceeded, and they couldn't load anything else. This would also happen if you went to someone's profile, like, I don't know, the owner of Twitter, to try and figure out why you can't see any more tweets. You'd still get that same rate limit exceeded message on their page. The limit got bumped up to 800 tweets and then 1,000 tweets. And it was always 10 times higher for people with paid accounts. But I don't know if you've ever used Twitter before. Even seeing 1,000 tweets does not take that long. This, along with the growing disdain people have for the platform, helped Threads reach a bunch of user milestones. 5 million in 4 hours, 30 million in 16, 100 million in 5 days. People are clearly interested in a Twitter alternative. At first, Elon plays it cool. He likes a tweet from an engineer about how they're excited to have competition and how they're only going to make each other better. By the end of the day, Twitter is threatening to sue Meta over Threads. Then it was, Threads is just Instagram minus pics, which makes no sense, given that thirst pics are the main reason people use the app. Putting aside the fact that you can post pictures on Threads, and Twitter literally allows porn. thirst pics. This reminds me of when people complain that the Instagram For You page is broken because all they see are thirst traps of women and they don't interact with those posts. Or all they see are thirst traps of men and they don't interact with those posts. My Explore page is mostly Minecraft and Spider-Man with some of my other interests and memes thrown in there. While some people definitely use the app for thirst pics, that's not how everyone uses the app. I look at stories and at DMs, and that's about all I use Instagram for. I haven't posted pictures since Halloween. Different people use the app in different ways. Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun how we're all special little snowflakes on our apps? Isn't that great? Then Elon called Zuck a cuck. Then there was the dick measuring tweet that I showed earlier. At one point, he said, with the exception of this platform, large social media companies gladly engage in heavy censorship. Fun fact, suspending reporters and activists and working with multiple governments to block tweets and accounts and preventing traffic to certain websites from your website is not censorship. That's free speech, baby. Then it was liking tweets about how the Threads logo is actually satanic, and look, of course Elon hates Threads. It's a direct competitor, and that's cheating. But he and his ilk have won. They got Twitter to be exactly what they want it to be. They're verified, their tweets get priority both in the algorithm and in the replies, their political opposition has been weakened because people have just left the platform. But that's not enough. They can't just have power on the platform. They also need to be well-liked. And I mean that both in the general sense and they want their tweets to get a lot of engagement. So when this other app is gaining popularity and it seems like people like it, surely it's not that the app that they have made for themselves is bad in any way. Surely it's the people who are wrong. This does not make Meta nor Mark Zuckerberg a saint, despite the many threads I have seen that say so. They made Threads to make money. I'm sure they'll talk about wanting to encourage community and grow in a new space and find new ways to connect people. And in some ways, all of that is true. But there's also the fact that they lost $36 billion on the metaverse and they need to recoup. And it looks like Threads is already going to start chunking away at that. Here's me calling my shot. Left field, 402 feet. On the fastball in. Within the next 3 years, Facebook, Meta, Instagram, whoever, are going to launch another app called like Pogo, an Instagram app, something dumb like that, that'll also connect to the same account, the same way that Threads and Instagram share an account, right? So you'll have all these apps that have like some sort of shared memory. You'll be able to seamlessly go from app to app, seeing as much content as you want all across the metaverse. And it's across the Spider-Verse poster. But it's got Mark, and it's got Adam Mosseri, and it's got Andrew Garfield. I don't know anyone else who works at Meta. Because if there's one thing these apps love reusing, it's the name. Threads already existed. It already happened. In like they shut down a couple years ago. But now it's back, and it's a whole new thing. So I can only assume that they're gonna do the same thing with the metaverse. It'll be interesting to see if people actually will call it the metaverse, or if that's just what the company uses. Everyone else like, it's an app, I'll call it by the name of the app. Thanks.
This video has been sponsored by Green Chef. If you're like me, you eat food, but sometimes you forget that you have to go get food in order to eat it, and then you just have 2 boxes of rotini sitting in your cupboard, which isn't so much a meal as it's the idea of a framework, of an outline, of a potential first draft of dinner. That's where today's sponsor, Green Chef, comes in. Green Chef is a meal kit that sends you the food to cook clean dinners week after week. All the food comes organized in these little kits, which is super convenient. The recipes are quick and easy to follow, and they have tons of delicious, nutritious ingredients with organic fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains. I made these turkey tacos with mango chimichurri slaw, and they were great. I had both servings in one day. They were delicious. Green Chef also helps me eat clean and live a healthy lifestyle. YouTube is not my full-time job, and when I get home from a day of work and have to go edit for a little bit, it's nice to know that I'll be able to make something pretty quickly that is also nutritious. There's also a certain fried chicken restaurant near my apartment. It's almost too close, and I have gone there for dinner more times than I would like to admit. But when I know I have food at home, it's way easier to walk past it, and then I feel good. Not just because I cooked myself dinner, and that's fun. But I also ate more vegetables than just the pickles on a chicken sandwich. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating clean with dinners that work for you, not the other way around. You can use my code HARRY50 to get 50% off and free shipping. Go to greenchef.com for more details. There's also a link in the description. Thank you, Green Chef, for sponsoring this video.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed it and you wouldn't mind leaving a like or subscribing, I'd really appreciate that. One last thing before I go. The best thing about Threads is there is a prominent internet personality who has blocked me on Twitter. I never tweeted at him. I never tweeted about him. I did like his tweets because I like his vibe. Seems like a cool guy. And then one day, one of my friends sent one of them in our group chat, and I couldn't see it. I was like, the tweet's been deleted. They all said no. I said, oh, okay. I went to his profile and I was blocked. I'm not blocked on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram, which gives me hope that this was not personal. Like maybe I had liked the tweet and he just did one of those things where you block everyone who likes a tweet. But yeah, I can't see his tweets. It's a date I will never forget. September the 12th, 2022. The date that I realized I was blocked by this creator. I want to know why. I want to know why so bad. I just and I pray that it was just like, oh, you must have liked something, because if it's something to do with who I am as a person, devastation. Also, there's now a Harry James Miller Discord. I mentioned it in my last video. It's poppin'. It's great. We talk about art and theater and Riverdale a lot. So if any of that interests you, there's a link in the description. Again, thank you very much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed it. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Is this good? Is this good content?